Hello everyone and welcome to the MadyMack making podcast. It has been a few weeks and some exciting things have happened. Our baby girl Augustine was born. She is 6 weeks old today. It has just been a blur and so much fun getting to know her and just getting all the baby cuddles in. It's meant a lot less knitting, but that's okay. She's currently sleeping, so I wanted to sneak on here and just give a little update. There were several things I was able to complete before she was born, and a few things that I've been able to complete since then. And yeah, just wanted to run through all of those with you guys while I had a few minutes. I guess we will start with those finished objects. So, I went back and watched my last video, just the works in progress part, so I could remember what I was still working on then and what has been finished since then. I realized the pregnancy brain was very real, and that video was not the most coherent in the world, so hopefully this one will be better. If not, I do apologize, and hopefully, as she gets a little older and I get more sleep, it'll get better. But until then, we're all in this together, and we're just gonna enjoy some knitting chat. So we'll start with the little things first, and then I have a few larger items, or I have one larger item from before and one for after. Firstly, let's see, the one that I was working on in our last video was the lace dress body by Knitting for Olive. I made this in Cattail Silk by Purl Soho in the color Dusty Rose, and it is absolute precious. Has the bodysuit underneath, a very cute little lace skirt, and the button in the back to help get over the head. And I just absolutely love this. It is so cute. And the lace pattern, show you there. I had lots of my just single 100-gram skein left over, so I made the matching lace hat also by Knitting for Olive, and as you can see, they have the same, or at least very similar lace patterns on there, so it makes a very cute little set. I haven't tried this one on her yet. Hopefully it's still a little big because I don't plan for her to wear it for another month or so. My sister is getting married, and Augustine is going to be the flower girl, mostly for show. She will only be about 3 months old at the time, but I'm planning on her wearing this for the rehearsal, which I think will be very cute. And then I believe everything else that I've finished I hadn't started yet at the time, clothing wise. So I will show you the other things that were on the needles then. So I was able to complete her baby blanket in time, plenty of time before she was born. So it was in her newborn pictures, which was my real goal. This is Mini Augustins number 5 by Augustins DK. It is a beautiful circular lace blanket. I used the recommended yarn Cardiff Cashmere Classic to make it, and it is so soft, and blocking just made it stretch out, and you can see the lace so much better now. I'm not going to be able to get it all in frame, but hopefully you can get the general idea, and yes, so in love with this one. Ideally, I think it'll just be kind of an heirloom piece, something that she can have forever. Since it is cashmere, it won't be an everyday use blanket, but that's okay. Her name is Augustine. The pattern is Augustins. It just had to be made. So, but yes, this is probably the thing that I am proudest of making for her. But it actually wasn't nearly as complicated as I thought it would be. So if this is something you would like to try, I definitely recommend giving it a go. And then the other thing that was on the needles was my Carols in the Snow socks. This is a self-striping sock set from Tiny Human Knits. I use the contrast for the cuff, heels, and toe. And speaking of that pregnancy brain, I did the strangest number of stitches for this, and thankfully in blocking, they did stretch out just a little bit because I did 54 stitches. I don't know why I did that, but I didn't realize it until I was already past the heel, so it was too late to change anything. Yes, because I generally do a 64 stitch sock, but I wanted to experiment with going down a size, which I think was probably supposed to be either 60 or 56 stitches. I went with 54. They're quite snug. They're still very comfortable. So it worked out. Some water. All right. The only other thing that was a whip at the time is the first thing that I was able to complete after she was born. It was just good, simple knitting for, well, for the first 3 weeks. I didn't pick up a pair of needles, or at least the first 2 weeks. I think that the third week is whenever I finally did sort of start again. But yeah, at first it was just all about Augustine, and now we're getting to branch out a little bit more into some things that I can do while she does take a nap. She mostly likes to be held, so that also kind of cuts down on a little bit of the knitting time, but she is starting to nap on her own a little bit more, which means I do have a little bit more time. But that thing is my half and half triangles wrap. Basically just like the one I'm wearing, which I wear pretty much every day. I made this one with the intention of it being a nursing shawl. Now we're in the 80s, 70s are the lowest already, so I probably won't be using this a ton now, but it will come in handy when it starts to get cool again, or just use as a blanket between now and then. But probably a little too warm to use as a shawl with her on me as well. I used the recommended yarn, Linen Quill by Purl Soho, in the colors Bright Flamingo and High Tide. I really love these two together. Do the large size each time. I'm trying to figure out something to do with my leftovers for these, because I now have it in several colors. So if you have any ideas for that, please let me know. This shawl is also in Linen Quill, so you know, I've already used this High Tide color in there, and then this is leftovers from the one I'm wearing now, and then the bright pink here is Rhubarb Pink, which I have more of for a t-shirt, but I assume I'll have more leftovers, so I have several colors to work with if you do have any ideas of how to use up some of those scraps. And now we'll move into things that I have started and finished since my last video. I got very much into bonnets there for a little while. This one is made to match the Ankers bodysuit that I showed last time. It is in this ochre color. I think it's dark ochre, knitting for olive merino. And I didn't have very much of it left, so I just did the first set of ribbing in that, and then I moved into some leftover merino in marzipan. And so that'll be a cute little bonnet to go with the Ankers suit that I made in the 3 to 6 month size, or I might have made it in 4 to 6 month. I can't remember how the spacing goes with that. And then the reason I only had such a little bit of the ochre left over is because I used it to make this Little Sisters romper. And this one is also in a 3 to 6 month type size. This is the second one that I made. I also made one in, I think the color was Dusty, is either Dusty Blue Whale or Dusty Whale, I can't remember. And a smaller size, so this one, or I don't know, a different size. It might have been larger. I honestly can't remember at the moment, but yes, this was a great way to use up some scraps. It takes less than a 50-gram ball, because I had already used part of that ball to finish up the Ankers suit, and then I still had a little bit left over to do this bonnet. So yeah, doesn't take up much at all, and just makes a really cute little piece that I think will be very sweet over some different little onesies, kind of like overalls or by itself as well. Then to wrap up the summer knitting, I made this Rigmor's bonnet by Petite Knit. Oh, and both of these patterns are Petite Knit as well. In some cotton that I had left over from making the stuffed animal that I showed last week. It's a Sheepia's Katona, and I don't remember the color of it. It's just a string of numbers, but I love the cute little lace pattern on it, and it's very bright, very neon. It's slightly more peachy in person, and I think it will go with these two little dresses that I made, especially this one with the oranges on it. I think it'll be a cute little match. These patterns that I used, this one has little puff sleeves and the ruffle at the neck, and then the buttons up the back, which I think are just so cute. I just got these buttons in a pack from Hobby Lobby. But both of these patterns are by Me Oh My Sewing. On Instagram, she makes the most adorable children's patterns. She also has adult sizes in some of them. This one has the more like square neck with the ruffle sleeves. It's just very, very cute. This one I think is made to just pull straight over their heads, because there's no zipper, no buttons or anything. So I probably need to try this on her sooner rather than later, just to make sure it'll go on comfortably. But yes, both of these are in the 3 to 6 month size, and I think they're just the cutest thing ever. And the little bonnet I think will be a fun touch. Now we are moving into some fall makes on the bonnet train. This one I used the bonnet pattern out of the Ellen's Coming Home set, just because I already had it. I made the Ellen's Coming Home set, and then since then I've made a few bonnets from that pattern as well. This one is in the leftover Knitting for Olive Merino in the color Robin, to match the Sunday suit that I made in the 6 to 9 month size. So now all of the suits that I've made for her, and well, basically anytime I had leftover yarn, I would make a bonnet to match the outfit. So just kind of a fun little way to use up some extras. And then this just came out so cute. I wasn't sure how it was going to quite work out because the yarn I got for this was Sugar Wheel Cotton by Yarn Bee, and it came as like a self-striping cake, and then I wound it up and cut the different colors into their own cakes so that I could do the striping however I wanted, because I wanted all the ribbings to have the same colors. And then I just kind of guessed on how to do the stripes, like how many rows, and you really can't tell, but or at least I don't think you can tell unless I mention it, but one of the arms does have one less row of every color because I didn't guess quite right and I kind of ran out. You can put your guess below if you want as to which sleeve has less stripes, just so I can see if other people can tell. But I think it came out super cute. The pattern I used is the teddy bear sweater by Petite Knit. Obviously I didn't put the teddy bear face on it. I just used it as a base because it's a DK weight raglan sweater, which is basically all I needed. And I think it just came out super cute. I think it'll be good for fall because it is cotton. It really doesn't get super cold here, especially not in the fall. Like, it won't really start getting cold until late December. Like September, October, November are still decently warm. So I didn't want it to be too heavy. But it is still long sleeves in case it does get chilly, and it is a slightly heavier weight. So really love how that one came out. See, look how well the stripes line up. Very proud of that. And then last but not least, we have one more Little Sisters romper. This is a scrappier one. So this one is in the 6 to 9 month range. And I used leftovers from Stress Knits yarn. It's called Squad Gourds, I believe. And that's what, so I had two different cakes. One was slightly lighter than the other, my two leftovers. So I started with the darker one. And then I had a mini from row 1 that's this green, and I did stripes. Stripe of the green and then a stripe of the lighter cake that I had. So I used up all of the darker cake and then did stripes and then the lighter to kind of ease it in. And then when I ran out of the mini, I just finished up with the lighter cake. And I think it came out really fun, really cute. I think it'll be just a fun thing to throw on for her when we do get into the fall season. Gonna match the fall colors. And then also, so whenever she was born, I had a couple different projects on the needles. I had the half and half wrap still, which I've already shown you. That was the first thing I finished. And then I had a pair of socks, a hat, and a baby sweater. So I kind of moved into a more monogamous knitting frame of mind. I just finished up the half and half wrap, and then I got started on pretty much solely working on this pair of socks for Matthew. I had already started them. I had one ready to start the heel, and the other, I was just barely past this toe. These are the DRK Everyday Socks by Andrea Renee Knits or Andrea Mowry. And so they are toe up. I don't do toe up very often at all. I did it because Matthew had asked for a lot longer socks. Oh, give me just a second. I think she might be waking up. False alarm. She's just making some noises. She's asleep. he had asked for some slightly taller socks and ones that had a bit more grip. You know, we're still working out, you know, the best sock formula for each of us. As I said, I was also trying out some smaller circumferences for mine. So I thought the DRK Everyday Socks would be a good place to start. For one, because they're ribbed, so that would have a little bit more grip. And two, since they're toe up, I could just use all the yarn that I had and make them as long as possible. He's already worn these a few times, so they're already a bit stretched out, so they don't look quite as funny, but before they just looked ridiculously long, like they would be knee socks or something. But they've actually worked out really well. He really is enjoying wearing them. The yarn I had ordered off of Amazon. It was a Regia, just their sock, but it had the wrong label on it, so I don't actually know what color this is, but it is just a nice kind of like blue and green stripy pattern. And then I moved on to working on the hat that I was working on. This one I just finished, well, both of these I just finished yesterday. So they're still a little damp from blocking, but when I had moved on to this one, which this is the Stria hat by Andrea Mowry, the half fisherman's rib is nice to work on sometimes, but I also wanted something much more simple that I could attempt to do while, you know, while I was holding her, while she was asleep on my chest or something like that. So I also started a second hat, but I'll talk about that one in a second. This I made out of Hello Stella's Highland wool, I think is what the base is called, and the color Prism, which is just this really fun neon. I picked up 2 skeins of this back when she did the update of it in just like the regular, and then one in the tweed, so that I could make a couple of hats. I thought it'd be really fun for Christmas presents. I had ideally wanted to do it last year, but then I got sucked into the baby knitting marathon and didn't really end up making any Christmas presents. So it'll be Christmas for this year for all of the girls in my family. I just thought it'd be fun to have all really fun, not matching but coordinating hats. I already made one for my sister using this yarn and a Surrey alpaca to make the Harlow hat by Andrea Mowry. So this one is going to be for my mom. I doubled the length of the brim so that it can be folded up, and I just think it's going to be really fun. I have now gotten, well, I'm ready to make the next one, is what I was going to say. It'll probably be a couple weeks before I cast it on, because I'd like to work on some other things for a while, since I've been working with this yarn already. But the next one I'm going to make is for my other sister, and I'm going to do the pressed flowers hat. For the contrast, which I also did use as contrast stripes in this, but it really blends into the variegated. Also from Hello Stella, I had ordered from her Paint by Numbers collection, because it matches the variegated really well. So I'll use those for the flowers and the pressed flowers hat. So this one, once I got into the body of the hat, it went a lot faster. The ribbing for some reason took forever, but yes, very glad to have finished this one. And then I was also working on, for my simpler stockinette, the Oslo hat Christmas edition. So this is one of the things that I wanted to make for Augustine for the winter. And so here it is. I used Sunday Held Double by Sadnes Garn and the color Deep Red. And then I just used some leftover white yarn for the pom-pom. And I think it is so cute. It was really, really fun to make. I love the Oslo hat. I already have an Oslo hat in this color, so I'll also kind of be able to match a little bit. Mine is not the Christmas version. This is the size 0 to 2 years, which I kind of tried it on her head yesterday, and it is huge on her, but hopefully it'll fit a little bit better by Christmas. But either way, I think it'll be super cute. And those are all of the things that I have been able to finish. I have now started on the other project, where is it? Oh, here it is. I have started working on this one pretty monogamously. It was the last thing that I was actually working on at the time she was born. This is the Sorrel by Wool and Pine Designs. I think she's actually waking up this time. Just one. So as you can probably tell from the outfit change, it is now a different day. It's actually been about a week and a half, but figured I'd just go ahead and use the beginning that I already recorded because, well, all of it's still true. The only change is now the little baby sweater that I was about to show you as a work in progress is now a finished object. Like the cat is talking. This is the Sorrel sweater by Wool and Pine Designs. I made it in the 6 to 12 month size, and I did short sleeves. It doesn't get super cold here, so I thought short sleeves would increase the amount of days that she can wear it on. I used Sunday from Sadnes Garn in the color, I believe it's Deep Olive or Dusty Olive, something like that. And I used just over 1 ball for it since I did the short sleeves. And I just think it turned out so nice. I was a little worried about doing the all over reverse stockinette, but it really wasn't that bad. Purling doesn't really bother me. I just don't really enjoy doing ribbing, going back and forth, but since it was all pearls, it was totally fine. So this I just washed yesterday and it's already pretty much dry. I just picked it up off the blocking mats, but yeah, so that's a little, I guess you saw it, and it's I think whenever I was making that last clip about a week and a half ago, I was just about to split the first sleeves. So yeah, kind of see its progress almost in the same video. So there you go. That's the only thing I've finished, but I am pretty close to finishing up this little cardigan. So this is the last piece that I plan to make for her fall knitted wardrobe. This is a variation that I'm doing on the Anna's Summer Cardigan by Petite Knit. That one is, well, you may have seen it in my last video. I did make the actual summer cardigan with the little eyelet pattern. This is, I just changed it to be a broken rib instead. When Matthew and I had been walking through Carter's, a baby clothing store, before Augustine was born, he had seen a white broken rib cardigan and really liked it, so I just decided to make it instead of buying it. So I just adapted that pattern to have a broken rib stitch, and it worked out really well, pretty seamlessly. I'm doing the 6 to 9 month size, and it seems really long, but who knows, maybe it will fit perfectly by then. And I've finished out the body. I'm working on the first sleeve, which these tiny baby sleeves go pretty quickly. I'm already pretty much like halfway done with it. Then I need to do the other sleeve and the button bands, and then this one will be done, hopefully in a day or two. And then I'm going to make a matching bonnet, just also going to adapt one of the bonnet patterns I have, probably just the one from the Ellen's Coming Home set by Petite Knit, to have a broken rib pattern, because the cardigan at the store had a hood. I didn't want to figure out how to add a hood, so I'm just going to do a matching bonnet instead. But yes, very happy with this. The yarn I am using is the Two of Wands collaboration with Lion Brand, called Color Theory, and this is in the color Ivory. It's 100% acrylic, machine washable and dryable, pretty ideal for a baby. So this is really my main whip right now. We were out of town a few days this week, so I used that opportunity to kind of, I don't know, plan, I guess. Plan what I'd like to do next, because I don't know about you, every time I go out of town, I for some reason think that I'm going to become like 7 times more productive, and I thought I would have this totally finished. That is where I finished this. I did both. I finished off the hem and did both the little baby sleeves on our drive there. And I did still get a lot of this done. I was at the sleeve split when we left, so I did do the whole body. But I did probably get a little ahead of myself on how much I brought with me knitting-wise, since I didn't even finish this one. But I did get a new project cast on. I've done a lot of baby knits lately, and then my next few things were all things for myself, since she's here now, and this cardigan will finish off everything I wanted to make for the fall. I do have several plans left for the winter, but that is many, many months away, so I thought I could do with a little detour into some selfish knitting. And what I have cast on so far is just 2 cuffs. Really doesn't look like much yet, but at least they are started, which right now means a lot. If I can just pick this up and go, I'm much more likely to actually get to it. So these are going to be the Almost Argyle socks by Gently Chaotic Knits. I have already made 1 pair of these before for my husband, so I'm now going to have a variation for myself. I don't know if that's the case for y'all, but pretty much anything I make for someone else, I end up really liking it as I make it, and then end up making a version for myself. So there we go. I'm just using the mini. I'll do it for the cuffs and heels, and then I have this, which I have been wanting to use for a long time. It is the colorway Casita by Sewrella yarns. It's based on the movie Encanto, which is probably one of my favorite animated Disney movies now. Love the music in it, and I have been wanting to use this ever since I bought it, I think over 2 years ago now. I've been trying to work through my yarns in order of when I got them. Obviously with the baby knits, there's been several exceptions. Oh, you can maybe hear her making noises over there. She's with Matthew. Because I didn't have the baby yarns until I knew I'd be knitting for a baby. But with my next projects I'm casting on, I've had all of the yarns for about 2 years. So I'm glad to be finally getting to work them up. Yeah, but anyway, this one just has a lot of fun colors in it, and I think it'll be nice with just the kind of subtle Argyle design on it. So hopefully I'll actually kind of be able to show y'all some of the texture on those next time. Yeah, hopefully it won't be too long between videos. But otherwise, I guess I'll show you the finished pair next time. And then also picked back up an old project. I cast this one on right before I found out I was pregnant last summer. And I had gotten so far as making the collar. This is going to be a sweater number 1 from my Favorite Things Knitwear. I am using the Knitting for Olive Soft Silk Mohair in the color Flamingo, held double. I am very excited for this project. This is one of the very first yarns I ever bought whenever I started garment knitting. I've known how to knit for many years, but I didn't get into garment knitting until 2021. So this yarn I bought with the Knitting for Olive Merino that I used to make my very first garment project. So also really glad to get this out of stash. And yeah, today my plan is to go ahead and set up for the raglan. Now the collar is done, well, I'm picking it up with the collar done. So hoping to get it set up to really work on here soon. And the little stitch marker is from Hello Lavender Designs, I think. Yep. So really excited to get that one started. And then today I am also hoping to cast on my final new project. So as soon as I finish the cardigan, I will have a pair of socks, a sweater, and a shawl, which is before I started on the baby knits, kind of how I liked it to be. So this is also from Sewrella yarns. This is the color The Garden Room on her Stellina base. So I hope you can see some of that sparkle. I think she's still doing good over there. And I'm going to be holding it with Knitting for Olive Soft Silk Mohair and the color Mushroom Rose. So I think those are going to be really nice together. And I'm going to be making, it's out of 52 Weeks of Shawls. The Windgate shawl. I love big, massive shawls. They are my favorite thing, both to make and to wear. The things I wear the most out of my makes are probably the shawls. I wear one pretty much every single day when I'm working from home. And they're also nice now just being home with the baby. And yeah, I just I like the big triangular shape. Those are the ones that I definitely wear the most. I did try, you know, I have my crescent shaped one here, but I find that the tails are just really long and they don't actually provide that much warmth because it's mainly length rather than depth, and I think the depth is my favorite part. So looking forward to casting this one on, and I think it's going to be really nice in that combination. So kind of just a quick little wrap up there. I am actually wearing a piece of knitwear today. This is the Cumulus top by Petite Knit that I made last summer in Purl Soho's Cattail Silk. That's what it's called, and the color was Moon something, just the white, off-white color, Moon White, maybe, I don't remember exactly, but do really like it. I would like to make a few more of these actually in different colors because they're just a great basic tank, and something really easy to layer, and which makes it very wearable. Yeah, so hope all of you have been doing really well, and I hope to talk to you again soon. Yeah, and if you would like to, you can follow me over on Instagram at MadyMack.makes. I will leave it down in the description below. You can see a few more updates. I really don't post very often, but I'm planning on putting up a couple of pictures of, you know, these knits in action. So feel free to join me over there if you'd like. Good to talk to all of you, and hope to do it again soon. Bye.